What's up, guys? Eric here, Mr. Fired Up Wealth. If I told you that there was a robotic process automation company that's really best of breed, that might be coming out on IPO and you can actually own shares of the company, would you want to learn more about the business? Well, that's exactly what we're going to cover today. Without further ado, let's get started. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about robotic process automation, also known as RPA, because that's really what UiPath is all about. So robotic process automation is the technology that allows anyone today to configure computer software or a robot to emulate and integrate the actions of human interacting within digital systems to execute a business process. RPA robots utilize the user interface to capture data and manipulate applications just like humans do. They interpret, trigger responses, and communicate with other systems in order to perform on a vast variety of repetitive tasks, only substantially better. An RPA software robot never sleeps and makes zero mistakes. Now, this is a cartoon kind of from their website that goes through and shows you the story behind UiPath and why RPA is so powerful, so important. It talks about, why RPA needs to be adopted by businesses. And it really comes down to your employees, especially office workers, more and more are just bogged down with mundane tasks, with data entry, and they're not really focused on what they're getting paid for. And so how can we make that process more automated through robots so that our employees can be happy and productive? Because quite frankly, who wants to just go to the office and data entry all day? And a lot of times these people are paid a lot of money, $35 an hour or more to do data entry. And a lot of it is, things that robots, RPA can basically do in an automated fashion for a lot less money, especially when you think of, they call it the return on robot investment, ROR. But here's Glenn. He's talking, hey, you need to do an expense report. So if you're in sales, you have to do an expense report every time you travel, and you need to, go on to Concur or whatever product you guys use, and you have to fill out that expense report, and it takes time, and it takes away from that salesperson actually focusing on their job, which is selling. This is their whole strategy is discover, build, manage, run, engage, and measure, and you'll see that later on in the video. But this really comes down to trying to be more productive, more effective, more efficient, and really a happier workforce. So this is a quick intro into UiPath and what RPA is all about. Okay, so how can RPA help me? And this is really from a perspective from UiPath trying to sell this to a business, but as an investor, it's important to understand how UiPath can win business, how they can grow. So how can RPA help me? Rapid return on investment, enhanced processes, better customer experience, eliminate repeat work, improve service delivery, enhanced ability to manage your employees, reduction of costs, increased compliance, non-invasive technology, scalability and flexibility. Any size business can use it. And insight and analytics, which is very important, especially in today's age. These are all very good reasons why you might want to buy or invest in UiPath if you're a business. And they're important reasons for us to understand as investors. This infographic really shows you a little bit more detail about the discover, the build, the manage, run, and engage. So when you think of discover automation opportunities powered by AI and your people. Build, you're going to build automations quickly so that, you want to do this fast. You want to make something real quick. You want to do a quick and simple automation. You're going to manage, deploy, and optimize automation at enterprise scale. So you want to be able to scale it for any size organization. You can run automations through robots that will work with applications and data, of course, engage people and robots as one team for seamless process collaboration. That's very powerful. Quick facts about UiPath. This is good information. So they've been a leader in every Gartner Magic Quadrant, Forrester Wave, and Everest Peak Matrix for RPA. So they are considered best of breed. Number one in all major independent user review sites for RPA, including Gartner, Peer Sites, Trust Radius, all the big ones, right? So they're number one in all major independent reviews. They're on the Disruptor 50 from CNBC. They're on the Forbes AI 50. They're the only RPA provider named to the Forbes AI 50 in 2020. So next I want to show you some quick infographics here. This here is the Magic Quadrant. You probably see it quite a bit if you follow, especially software and in SaaS. Gartner does these Magic Quadrants really to show you the best of breed. So you can see in the top right-hand side of that Magic Quadrant, the leaders, UiPath is at the top. You see other companies in there like Microsoft. You see other companies like SAP. There's that Blue Prism in there. But UiPath is really considered best of breed. They have 40 offices around the world. They were actually created originally in Romania, and they now are headquartered in New York City. You can see all the different offices. They're very global. Now, this is a cool infographic I got from a white paper. This is from Gartner Research, and it says just a few automations can save 20 minutes of work per person daily. Enabling 10,000 employees with a software robot will save more than $30 million a year based on an average salary of $35 an hour. So as a potential investor, we want to do as much due diligence as we possibly can. We want to know what the company does, what the features are of UiPath. So this slide here is going to cover the features. For example, hosting options. It can be hosted in cloud environments or virtual terminals. Application compatibility. They offer a high range of applications to work with, which include both web and desktop applications. A centralized repository. This feature really helps with handling all the robots simultaneously at the same time by users. So a user can come in and control all the robots and make them do different things with a couple clicks of the mouse. Security offers auto login feature to run the robots. Advanced screen scraping solution. Now, scraping solution, it really works with any application. So you can use Net, Java, Flash, PDF, Legacy, SAP, all of them really with absolute accuracy. And if you're not familiar with what that terminology is, it doesn't really matter that much per se, but what you need to take from that is that the solution really works with many different applications. So it's important to realize. It's a reliable tool for modeling business processes or processes, depending on how you want to pronounce it. The UiPath Studio offers automation excellence with the help of model business processes. Level of scalability and robustness, there's really two major bullets there. Effective debugging and exception handling mechanisms, and then also artificial intelligence or AI handling, which really handles day-to-day applications like your Outlook, your Excel, your PDF, etc. So those are some of the key features to UiPath. All right, so how does RPA work? How does robotic process automation work? RPA robots are capable of mimicking many, if not all, human user actions. They log into applications, they can move files and folders, they can copy and paste data, they can fill in forms, extract structured, even semi-structured data from documents, scrape browsers, and much more. So let's look at that. This is just a quick infographic on their website. Logging in the application, we mentioned these, right? Connect to system APIs, though, that's really critical when you think of a SaaS solution, a cloud type SaaS environment within large, complex organizations. You have an enterprise, software solution. You might use best of breed and have lots of different products that have to communicate to each other. And so connecting the APIs can help with that as well as many other reasons it can help within an organization. But, RPAs can copy and paste data so that people don't have to do it. It saves them time. They can move data from files and folders. They can move files and folders. They can extract and process structured and even semi-structured information from PDF documents, from your emails, from forms. They can put that into a central repository. They can put it into a database. They can read and write to databases. They can open emails and attachments for you automatically. They can scrape data from the web. They can make calculations. There's a lot of things that you can do with these RPA, with these robots. Something really simple. If you're in our Discord, if you're not, you can join Patreon and join Discord. But we have robots in there that essentially do tasks. Like when a new user comes in, you have to accept the rules. That's all automated through robots. And we've got several different robots in there that do different things. It can play music for you. It can pull up charts. It can provide information about specific, commands that you give it. Some of it's even automated though, where it just posts the rules to the group every 12 hours and so on. So that's just one simple example of how, robots can work. So you think of like chatbots, you think of, lots of different ways that you can use robotic process automation so that, the admins, like for a Discord or for the employees at a company, don't have to sit at a desk all day and do this stuff manually. It takes a lot of time. You can use that time to focus on more productive, more effective, more efficient things for your organization. Another cool infographic from that same white paper: Gartner coined the term hyper-automation to describe how the combination of robotic process automation, RPA, and disruptive technologies such as artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, process mining, decision management, and more can be used together in an end-to-end automation solution. This is from Everest Group right here. I think this is good information. What processes are relevant to RPA? And it shows you the different industries here on the left-hand side. So you've got banking, insurance, healthcare, manufacturing, high tech, and telecom, energy and utilities. And it's talking about all the different things you can use it for. So industry-specific processes here. And up here it says potential for RPA, low to high. So this dark blue is kind of low potential for RPA. This orange color, the bright orange color, is high potential for RPA. And you can see that there, you can see in banking, there's quite a bit for the accounts receivable, the accounts payable, the general ledger, and manufacturing as well. You can see the different areas. So banking and financials, they have here card activation could be something that robots could help with. RPA, frauds, claim discovery is another one. Insurance, you've got claims processing and new business preparation. You think of Lemonade Insurance, they use like AI chatbots, and there's quite a few different insurance companies in the insurance industry that use claims processing bots like that. So that's pretty common, and this is something that there's probably a lot more potential growth in that area for sure. Reports automation, system reconciliation for healthcare and manufacturing. They got the BOM, the bill of materials generation. In high tech and telecom, they have service order management and quality reporting. And then energy and utilities, it says account setup and meter reading validation. I think this is important just to have an understanding of maybe different industries and how RPA may apply or be useful to those specific industries. This one's also pretty cool. UiPath platform for hyper-automation combines a leading RPA solution with full suite of capabilities. Some of the highlights: use AI to analyze back-end systems and application logs, process document data, enable all employees to chip in as what they call citizen developers, gain more control and flexibility over attended robots, centralize automation, apply process mining, apply AI to your robots to automate more. SaaS solution also opens the door to RPA for all businesses, which is very powerful and a great business opportunity for a company like UiPath. Real quick, more information. This is just from Wikipedia, but UiPath, I mentioned earlier, it was founded in Romania. It was founded in 2005, and it was actually founded in Bucharest, Romania. And later they opened offices in London, New York City, Bangalore, Paris, Singapore, Washington, D.C., and Tokyo. They're headquartered now in New York City. If you can see here the growth, 2017, they had 590 employees and then moved the headquarters to New York to be closer to international customer base. In 2016, they had 100 customers, and that rose to 700 customers in 2017. And then in 2019, UiPath crossed 5,000 customers worldwide. So this is a pretty impressive growth story. They've grown very quickly. They've had accelerated growth over the last few years. UiPath was also ranked first in Deloitte Technology Fast 500. There's a bunch of different ones on here. The Financial Times 1000, number 2 overall. I mentioned CNBC Disruptor 50. UiPath was ranked number 3 again for the second consecutive year on the Forbes Cloud 100 in 2020. And in December 17th, 2020, Bloomberg reported that UiPath filed confidentially for an initial public offering, which is why we're talking about the company and the potential stock, because it might be something that we could look into as an investment for a portfolio. Now, funding, I won't focus too much on the earlier years up here, but it is important to realize this is fairly new. February 1st, 2021, UiPath raised $750 million in Series F funding at a post-money valuation of $35 billion. Now, they originally was in the, I think, $20 billion range, now $35 billion. Like a lot of these IPOs, they get higher and higher and higher. So this is getting pretty expensive, even when you look at the price to sales ratios and things like that, but they are best of breed. There are a few other companies that compete. I think you'll see more and more businesses get into this space. I'm going to show you what I mean here in a second. So this is older information, and it talks about that they are valued at $20 billion. As I mentioned, you can see right here. CNBC reported that the company had $360 million in annual revenue at the time, with more than 6,300 customers. So you can see it grew from 5,000 to 6,300. And customers include Amazon and Verizon, which I think is pretty important. UiPath's AI automation platform is meant to automate millions of repetitive, mind-numbing tasks for businesses and governments all over the world, improving productivity, customer experience, and employee job satisfaction. Very well said. Gartner expects worldwide robotic process automation, RPA, software revenue to reach about $2 billion this year. That's up 20% year over year, and growth at double digits through 2024. So decent growth there. The key driver for RPA projects, this is a quote, the key driver for RPA projects is their ability to improve process quality, speed, and productivity, each of which is increasingly important as organizations try to meet the demands of cost reduction during COVID-19. And that's from Gartner. Now, what's the competition look like? Because that's important. So Microsoft has actually made a strong RPA push in recent years. They added to their capabilities. It's called Power Automate Solution. And in 2019, they acquired an RPA startup called SoftMotive. Also, IBM acquired a Brazilian RPA company. That company was called WDG Automation. And then SAP, these are big companies, of course, launched its intelligent robotic process automation solution. Now, one company to keep in mind if you're doing due diligence and you're interested in investing in this space is going to be this Blue Prism. So they compete, UiPath competes with Blue Prism. In a recent bullish call, Seeking Alpha contributor Coretta Advisors recommended buying Blue Prism ahead of the UiPath IPO, seeing Blue Prism as valued at 50% discount to where UiPath is likely to list its prospective price to sales multiple. So, obviously it's expensive, but a lot of times you pay up for best of breed. So this is going to be like a lot of these IPOs where it feels like it's too expensive, and then it probably just keeps going higher. And I'm not saying you should just necessarily buy just because the price is going higher, but keep in mind that this is probably going to be in demand when it does come out. Here's a quick comparison of UiPath, Blue Prism, and Automation Anywhere, and you can see all 2021 revenue estimates are based on consensus growth rate of 36% year over year for Blue Prism. You can see 2018 UiPath is 155 revenue, Blue Prism 71. 2019, these UiPath basically doubled, but they all have good growth. And then UiPath here is 426 versus 179, and then 579 and 244. So pretty good growth there. In terms of revenue, it looks like $579 million. So, you can take that easily to get a price to sales ratio. So on valuation, if you use the FY21 revenue estimates, here are the following price to sales. So UiPath, the market cap based on Series E in July, which is obviously different now, but that was $10.2 billion. It's going to be, as we mentioned earlier, a lot higher. Blue Prism, much smaller at about $2.2 billion. Now, UiPath, based on this number, was a 17.6 price to sales multiple. So this gives you some good numbers here. Blue Prism, it's only a 9. So this could be an opportunity. It does trade OTC though, so keep that in mind. But UiPath, so, at $10 billion, if the sales multiple is 17.6, if the market cap ends up being $30 billion, you basically, take that times 3. It's pretty expensive. It's getting up there to like the CrowdStrike and Datadog type price to sales, but it does have good growth too. You can see 155 to 300, 300 to 426, 426 to 579. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously there's going to be risks. I'm going to show you some other information here in a second of why, it could be a risk reward play with UiPath. And here's another good document. It talks about RPA as the market overvalued. UiPath here, you've got valuations, you've got revenue estimates. You can see that Blue Prism is also in there, and Automation Anywhere. So if you look at the growth, you can see the overall growth for RPA. It's pretty impressive. 90%, 84, 71, 70, 30, 20, and it's got this revenue multiple here, and you can see, it's actually going to go lower as they grow, right? So that's why you're paying up a lot of times, in advance on a stock. RPA software, market value sensitivity analysis. This is showing some stats there in terms of growth and the revenue multiples. It's going to get better with time. And who's leading the charge? There's some good graphs here talking about, public sector. And I'll put the link in here so you can go take a look at this. But I could spend an hour going through all this stuff. This is what I want to point out, though. A winner-take-all market. The future of RPA market will be defined by its ability to break into more use cases with deeper business integration. There's a real opportunity to cross the chasm and deliver useful low-code systems to subject matter expert in business areas that have strong potential to drive change. The idea of hyper-automation is a buzz-worthy word, but it has meaning. Companies that bring RPA together with process mining and machine intelligence, which is really what UiPath does, and I think they do the best at it. That basically is going to have great potential, so long as organizational stovepipes can be broken down, but process data and analytics at the core to drive decision-making and change. In other words, whoever can break this, is going to be the best of breed, winner takes all type. And the winners are most likely to be the companies that have already carved out an early lead. So it talks about there's not even much room for big software players such as Microsoft, SAP. The problem is that Microsoft and SAP both have an incremental view of the market and bundle RPAs as a checkoff rather than giving it a high priority. And you're seeing this more and more in like the cloud and SaaS space, where people are, taking a bunch of best of breed products and putting them into one solution that works best for the organization. And this is kind of alluding to that same thing, where someone might go with the UiPath because it's really the best of breed and it can integrate so easily now with the rest of, the enterprise system. So organizations that really want to benefit from so-called hyper automations will be leaning heavily on software from specialists who have the vision, resources, culture, and focus to drive digital process transformation. Number one will make a lot of money. Number two will do okay. And everyone else will struggle with profits. So what does that tell you? I think it tells me that you probably have a winner with UiPath based on their track record, based on what the analysts think of their products, the magic quadrants, thing like that. So, I actually think UiPath is an amazing opportunity. It's going to be very, very expensive, but I think it's an amazing opportunity that really could be the best of breed and kind of the leader of the pack. According to this article, it could be, one company takes all, and that company might just be UiPath. Hey guys, thanks for watching. While I'm finishing up here, I'm actually going to show you some slides. This is from a demo of the actual tool. So this is what UiPath looks like. So take a look at these slides while I finish up this video. So I want to thank you, first of all, for your time and attention. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, hit the subscribe button, click the little bell to get notifications. Please give me a like, a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. Please drop a comment. That also helps the algorithm. Please stop by our Facebook group. I got Instagram. I've got TikTok. You can go to Patreon and join our private Discord. All of that information, if you go to the main channel, Fired Up Wealth, on the top right-hand side, there's all the links to the different social media formats that you can explore. But at a very minimum, subscribe to this YouTube channel because I'm just getting started. This is what I'm going to call Fired Up Wealth version 2.0. All brand new equipment. I'm focused on this 100% now as my job. I've retired from my corporate job. I'm now self-employed, financially independent, focused on trying to grow my portfolio and grow my wealth and trying to share as much of information that I've already learned over the past 20 years, plus information that I'm using for my own portfolio. So YouTube is kind of that portal into Fired Up Wealth, into my investment approach. And if you really like it and if it resonates well with you, consider joining our Patreon. There's different tiers. You can just Google Patreon Fired Up Wealth and look at all the different tiers that are available. But I appreciate your time and attention. I hope this video was helpful for you. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.